Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. Today I am filming my August wrap up and I have been procrastinating filming this video because I read 36 books in August, so we are gonna be here for a while. But yeah, I'm gonna be brief, but if you want more thoughts on any of these books, you can ask me down below and I will try to answer you like a coherent person, which I will not be here. Luckily for me, I can bunk a few of them, so let's just get started. First of all, I'm just gonna mention my Got a Thing for Summer reads. I already have my Got a Thing for Summer reading wrap up on my channel. I will link it down below where I go more into depth about these 4 books. But yeah, I read Let's Talk About Love, which follows Alice, who is biromantic and asexual. Her girlfriend has just broken up with her and she also meets this really cute guy at work, but she's not sure if she wants to open up to him, and she's also trying to figure out what to major and stuff in college. And yeah, it follows her and it was a really nice book with interesting friendship dynamics, and it was very, very cute as well. I also read The Forgetting by Sharon Cameron, and this one is set in a city where they forget everything that's happened there every 12 years, and they need to write everything that happens down in these books that basically shapes them as a person when the forgetting happens. However, we have the main character that I can't remember the name of that don't forget, and she can remember the last forgetting, and we don't know why this is happening, etc. and we're trying to get into the reasons behind it. And I didn't really like this at all. It focused way too much on the romance, and the reasons behind it was weird, and I just ended up really not liking this. I also read Second Chance Summer by Morgan Matson for Got a Thing for Summer, lol. And this one follows this family, and the dad is really sick, and they go to the summer house they used to go to every single summer except like the last 5 years, and it's like their last summer together before, yeah, things happen. I cried for like half an hour reading this, and the main character had like a really, I would say, boring character development, and the romance was like meh, but like the family parts were gold. The last one I read for Got a Thing for Summer was Burn Our Bodies Down by Rory Power. This one I actually listened to the audiobook because my copy has never arrived, and it was an audiobook I got from NetGalley, so I actually have a full review of this up on my channel, and I will link that below down as well. And it follows the main character Margaret, who has always lived with her mother, and she wants to know more about her family and like other people and the past of her mother's life, and then she finds that address and a number to her grandmother, and she goes back to that town that her mother came from, and they start to figure out, well, her life and stuff, and they're a mystery of like what happened and what's going on. So yeah, that's nice. It was weird, but yeah, I still prefer Wilder Girls, but I still really enjoy this one. And yay, again, more thoughts in my other videos. That was it for Got a Thing for Summer, and the rest of the month is just other random books. I put 35 books on my TBR and I still don't know why. We then have Given by Natsuki Kisu, and this one is volume 1 and volume 2, and I'm reading volume 3 now in September soonish, and I'm very excited. This one follows Ue Noyama, who is in this band, and then he meets this boy Mafuyu, who like has the guitar but don't know how to play, and then he asks Ue Noyama to teach him. They form a beautiful friendship so far, and maybe more, possibly more. And yeah, it's supposed to be very gay and also like beautiful story band thing. I watched some of the anime and it's really nice because then we can actually hear the songs that they are playing and stuff in here, and they're singing and stuff, and it's really beautiful. But I'm really enjoying the manga so far, and it's very funny and adorable and full of heart, and I think it's gonna break my heart too, so excited for that to happen. And I gave both of these 4 out of 5 stars. I then picked up Siege and Storm by Lee Bardugo. This one was a reread on audiobook, and I am trying to reread the Grisha Wars in preparation for the TV show. First series in the Grisha Wars is Shadow and Bone, and it follows Elena Starkov, who finds out that she is the Sun Summoner, and basically the Sun Summoner can go into this thing called the Fall where there's like shadow creatures, and since she is the Sun Summoner, she can make them, well, I was gonna say piss off. So that's why she's like a big deal. There hasn't been a Sun Summoner in a really long time. That's the start of the story, but like it's a lot more than that, with different Grisha that has different powers, etc. And in the second book, we are following developments after the first book, and somehow I like listen to this super fast, and I'm surprised because yeah, I think like this suffers a lot from second book syndrome, but that still it has developments and stuff, but it's just a lot of downtime. There's a lot of telling, not showing, because like there's like passes a long amount of time, and then Lee Bardugo just like sort of summarizes that time really quickly at the same time over long sort of pages, and they like she picks up certain moments that like are important, and then like she skips in time again, and I just generally don't like that kind of writing. It's not like I get it that she can't write every single moment, every single time moment in it, because that would be a long boring book, but at the same time it just falls really flat then, because it's just like, oh, we did this and this and this, and then we have like a dialogue, and then we did this and this and this, and it just becomes a bit meh. But like I still enjoy the series a lot. I can see it has flaws, of course, but I like surprisingly every single time how much I like it. But I definitely think I like this less than like when I reread Shadow and Bone. I don't remember what I rated it, possibly 3 out of 5, just because like the middle is so flat, but like the beginning is really good and the end is really good. I then read The Rifle Queen by Isabel Steger. I have a review of this and the first book in the series up on my channel. First book was called The Empire's Ghost, and this one is a fantasy series where like we follow a bunch of different characters in these different kingdoms, and there's just one kingdom that like wants to conquer all the other ones. Basically, like I knew all the names and stuff at the point in my review. Recommend checking that out. So generally, I really didn't like the first book in the series. It was written really strangely for me. I didn't like the writing at all, and like the plot didn't move at all. And here we like where the second book ended, I feel like that's where the first book should have ended. So we basically used 2 books and this really long thing. But I am enjoying some of the characters a lot. Like I like this much more than the first one, and I do really like some of the characters, and seeing like this certain plot line play out in this one was actually really enjoyable. But like that's like a small part of the book that I enjoy, and it was so long, and it was just so many things that I did not like the writing and certain plot lines, because they're so not clear what's going on. It's so vague about everything. But yeah, like not my favorite series, but now I read 1 or 2, so I possibly will pick up the third one whenever that comes out. But yeah, again, more thoughts in my full review. We'll link that down below as well. I then read The City We Became by N.K. Jemisin. This one I read for Faes, which is a book club I'm co-hosting, where we read one queer sci-fi or fantasy book every single month. For August, we read The City We Became, and the live show has already aired, but I can link it down below if you're interested to see an hour-long discussion of it. What to say about this one? We are set in a world where cities dies, and then there's certain people in that city that are chosen out for like hosts kind of for the city. They then have the ability to save the city. We are now in New York, and we follow 5 different characters. I'm thinking 4, 5. Oh my god, I completely lost it. Characters that are different boroughs in New York. We follow all the point of views and how they're gonna save the city, basically. So it's a nice twist on the hero trope, so that is really nice. Yes, the superpower trope. Writing of the book is very confusing, had some confusing action scenes, and it had a really interesting discussion on like how we all receive the book. But yeah, I think it has some really nice moments, and I had like generally a lot of fun. I just loved seeing them fight for the city and trying to figure out what to do and how to beat the bad people and stuff. And it's just like really my kind of book. I have always romanticized New York, never been there, but I always romanticized it, so it's like perfectly made for me. And also I just love the super trope, and I did generally like all the characters. I definitely see that the book could have worked with a lot of things more, see more of the different characters, and also like go more dwell into their powers, because I never really felt we got a concrete description of the powers, even though it says on Wikipedia. But the book really turns on its head though. Like we have this concept and we think it's because of this one reason, but it's really completely because of something else, and that is really shocking. And it's like it turns into a completely different book without you knowing. You don't know that going into it, and that's really interesting. I can't see how she's gonna write next to book in the trilogy, and that is nice, because like I feel like she can't do this concept again where Sid is dying and then we're gonna save it. It needs to be to the next level, and I feel like I don't have the brain cells to think what the next level is, but seeing what she would do with it I think will be so fun. So yeah, I have full belief that it will go really good. But yeah, I almost gave it 5 stars. It wasn't completely there for me because there was some confusion and different things. So yeah, 4 out of 5 stars. I then read Monstrous Volume 2 by Marjorie Liu and Sana Hakeda. This one is obviously the second volume in a Monstrous graphic novel series, and it follows this girl here that I cannot remember the name of, Maika, who is a half-wolf, and she also has this monster dying god inside of her. It's in this war where like we have these, I was gonna say people who like are half animals, like you see on the covers, and then we have the people like humans who are only humans, and they kind of always been like at odds with each other, and there was this war, and there's like war brewing again. And yeah, I really enjoyed the first volume, but here we really explore, I think, even deeper. The fourth volume is always like an introduction, and here we just really got to see the past and like what and why. And the first one was just, here's this shit and you're not gonna know why until later, and here we got to know a lot of whys, and I really enjoyed that. And the art is so stunning, and the story is really interesting. I'm really curious to see where it will go, and I'm really excited to pick up more. I have the third volume, but I haven't read it yet, but I will. So yeah, I feel like it's hard to talk about without spoiling, and also my brain cells can't remember everything. So yeah, I like procrastinated this video, so it's like over a month since I read everything. So yeah, I don't have brain cells enough for this, but I probably gave this 4 out of 5 stars. I then read Fable by Adrienne Young. This one was an article from that gallery and I have a full review of my channel. We'll link that down below as well. This one follows Fable, who was left on this island to survive on her own by her father, and then she does survive and is gonna leave the island to reclaim what's rightfully hers. And then we're mostly at the time in this book on this ship, so she basically finds this family that takes care of her and find the family trope. Love ship stories because they're all forced to be together and become best friends. And yeah, it was a nice book. I liked the concept and the idea, and it wasn't like super heavily on the magic, which was fine, but it wasn't like the best new thing ever, but like it was really enjoyable and fun. I had a good time of it. So yeah, I gave it like 3.5 out of 5 stars, like more up to 4 than like down to 3 though. But yeah, again, more thoughts in my full review. My next audiobook was Homo Deus, A History of Tomorrow by Yuval Noah Harari, and this one is kind of the sequel to Homo Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind, is that what it's called? Either way, I listened to the audiobook of that one last year, so I decided to listen to the audiobook of this one now because I wanted to see what the author has to say about tomorrow. The first book I think I enjoyed more because that is the basis of humanity and why we're here today. So it's like things that actually happened, and then he puts the reasons behind it, like why did these things happen. But now it was like a lot of speculation and theories, and like yes, there's a possibility that everything he wrote there will and can happen, but there's also a possibility that it won't. So it is more theoretical and like physical, is that a word? Probably not. Than the first books. I think I enjoyed the facts of that one, but I still enjoyed it a lot. I love to hear about like the possibilities of future and what humans can do with, I don't know, technology and finding eternal life and all that. Like it was really good and really interesting and intriguing. There is this voice, of course, telling me that of course I can't like say for sure that all these things will happen, even though these things are explored upon right now. I guess that was all my thoughts. I don't have more brain cells to actually talk about the like morals and stuff in the book of things that humanity wants to do, except also I don't remember it all because my brain cells are dead and I kind of need a physical copy to look through it more. I then read To Sleep in the Sea of Stars by Christopher Paolini, and this one I have a full review up on my channel as well, so I will leave that link down below. And this one is Paolini's newest book, obviously, and it's a adult science fiction. Follows Kira, who finds this object that really changes their life and the life of humanity and starts a war and everything. So it's a lot of things happening. It's this huge YouTube book where we just basically travel through the whole universe, and it's so beautiful and fun and super interesting, and I thought that I would have a hard time, for example, understanding all the science in it, but I didn't at all. It was super good, and we're also on a ship, and of course there's a crew, and what did I just tell you? I love a crew and I love me some finding families, etc. So yeah, I feel like I could talk a long time about this book, but I'm trying to keep it briefer, as you know, but also just I have a full review, so yeah. But yeah, this is out now, so please go and check it out. It was really fun and really good, and I'm so glad that I enjoyed another book by Paolini, who was known for Aragon series. That is like one of my childhood faves, so yay to that and yay to this book. I gave it like 4 out of 5 stars. Also, it's a standalone and has like one of the most satisfying ending I have ever read, so that is just like makes the read even more worth it. Just saying. And then finally picked up Spy Family by Tatsuya Endo, and this one is the first volume in this relatively new manga series. It was so much fun. I am so happy. Just thinking about it makes me happy, and like the newest volume, the volume 2 came out like this month, and I'm waiting for it to come in the mail, and I'm just so excited. So it follows Master Spy Twilight, who we don't know like the real name for because he's a master spy, and that's him here. For his newest mission, he needs to find a family because he needs to infiltrate his school, and then he needs to have a daughter to go to the school, and he also needs like a wife because this school is like really prestige and they don't take like in families that are not perfect, basically. Kind of rude, but like it's kind of the point. But the mother of this family that is chosen out is an assassin, and the daughter that is chosen is a telepath, and he doesn't know that she's an assassin and that the daughter is a telepath, and that obviously the telepath knows that they are spies and assassins because she can read their minds, but the assassin doesn't know that she's a telepath and he is a spy. So that is like the initial concept, and it's just so much fun. Yeah, it's like a comedy deluxe. Like, it's not serious in that way. Like, of course, you go around and like assassinate and stuff like that. Like, that's serious, that's not what I mean, but like, it's overall just a really light tone to it all. It's really full of humor, and like how he's thinking like, oh, I'm gonna go and spy la la, and like daughter's like and it's just the reactions and the humor is just like top notch. And I was so surprised how light it was. I expected maybe more darkness. I'm not saying it doesn't have its dark moments, but it's like definitely just so soft and full of humor, and how they're all just like slowly becoming a real family, even though they're all like were not initially. I love it so much. Found family again, and just the humor here is so top notch, and I can't stop talking about it. It's like one of my newest faves, and I'm so excited to read volume 2 and see where the story develops, because yeah, they need to figure out that who they are for each other. I wonder if they will all be betrayed, or if they just all will come together and like beat their organizations or something they work for or something. And I need an anime like tomorrow. I then read Dracula by Bram Stoker, so of course I know what Dracula is, and so do you probably. But yeah, it follows Jonathan Harker, who goes to, what's it called, Transylvania. How did I forget that name? And he is gonna help Dracula buy a house in London and in England, and then he gets very sick from that. Surprise, surprise. So obviously Dracula is a vampire, and we follow the story as it goes back in England and them trying to take down Dracula. I'm actually surprised how like this story actually originally was. I knew the story, but I didn't know like exactly how the original story was, because I haven't read it before, and it's just surprise, surprise. It's even surprised me, even though like you heard like a billion different versions of it. But yeah, I didn't hate it, but like I just generally dislike how some classics are written, and I dislike the writing in this because I think it gets overly confusing for no reason at all. But surprisingly for me, I understand more than I thought I would understand. I thought it was weird that that one doctor dude just knew everything about vampires. Like, how did he know that? Do we know that? I don't know. The fact that the book is called Dracula but it doesn't actually follow Dracula, but I guess that's fine too. And the ending surprised me. Is it like, it's to spoil an ending that's been out for like 200 years? I mean, is that possible? I didn't actually think Dracula would actually die. I don't know, I like assumed Dracula won. Yeah, but he actually dies, and I was surprised. I don't know what more to say apparently. I had thoughts when I was reading it, but it's been too long. I think I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. Like, I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. I don't know, maybe I gave it 4. Like, January, August was a really good reading month, except like the forgetting. And like, I did enjoy myself, and I'm glad I read this, because like, I love vampires, and it's really good to see like where some of these sources come from, but not just for this one, but also like the other vampire books that are really old. Vampire by John Polidri or something, what it's called, I don't know. But yeah, I don't know what more to say. Let's leave it at that. I then read Lola and the Boy Next Door by Stephanie Perkins, and this one is the second book in the Anne and the French Kiss trilogy, but they're all kind of companions to each other, where we don't follow the same main character, but like we see the characters from the other book. And this one follows Lola, who is currently dating this boy, what's he called? Max. I think he was called Max, but I'm not sure. He's quite much older than her, and then also she had a thing once with the boy next door, but he moved, and now they are moving back, and that's basically what it's about. She also really likes to dress like crazy, and like is really into fashion and stuff, so that is nice. And it was really sweet. She had also 2 gay dads that were adorable family together. It's fine, but like, you're so obvious like where the author's leaning towards, that like it just gets boring. It's like get together, and then they get together, and you're like, yay. But that's nice, I guess. Like, it wasn't, I didn't hate it or anything. It was just a nice average contemporary. I'm pretty sure, feel like this is a 3-star read, but I might have given it 4 at a time. I don't even know anymore when I read these books apparently, but rating is not that important. Either way, I read this now, and now I only have 1 left in the trilogy that I even have on my shelf. And like, I read Anne and the French Kiss I think in 2016, so maybe it would take another 4 years because before I picked that one up. I'm joking, they go by so fast. I should just binge it one day, but we will see. I then read Faes Rivals by C. Pacat and Joanna the Mad, and this one is the 4th volume in the Faes series, which follows all these boys on this school that fences, and now that they're not releasing them anymore in like the small volumes, only like these, I think it would take a while before we get the next one, which is very sad. But in this one, the teams are finally formed, and like we are getting like their first, I would say, trial match, and it is very fun to see them work as a team, or trying to work as a team. I love it so much, and it is so slow burn romance that I'm gonna like scream at this thing, but it's just so adorable and full of heart and full of diverse characters, and I'm shipping some of these so hard right now that it actually hurts me. I need people to love each other soon. And that's what I got to say about this. But yeah, I love it so much. I then read 5 Dark Fates by Kenora Blake, and this one is the final book in the 3 Dark Crown series. And this was a series I had a lot of fun with because my friends and I have been joking a lot about it. I know maybe it sounds lame for you, but it was really fun for us, where we were all one queen each. Because like the fit us with like what kind of powers we would have, and then we were like, who will win? And I'm still so annoyed about how this story developed. It had this really fun concept, and like I really like the idea of like this island that they live on. Oh my god, I didn't even say what it's about. Basically, we own this island, Fenburn, and on this island they're always born triplets, and they have to kill each other when they're at a certain age, and the last one standing becomes the queen. And obviously we follow the 3 triplets, Mirabella, Catherine, and Arsenone. I think like the pacing for the story has issues, but I also think that the story, the plot, how the story developed does bother me. Like things that were supposed to have weight and meaning just didn't. That's the same for the other ones in the series. So generally, like, not saying that this series is the best ever, but I don't hate it. I think it's entertaining and fun, but like generally I would probably recommend maybe something else, but I think a lot of people would maybe like this. So I would recommend it too. If someone asked me for recommendations, I'd probably recommend other things, but I could also recommend this. I didn't hate it, but either way, I hated how it ended. I hated how after everything, that's the ending we got. And I hated like how, as I said, the story developed, and how the author really like tried to like not go in an obvious direction and then try to come up with like new things. Not just in this one, but like generally in the series, that kind of just like made the original idea of the series just like mean nothing, and it bothers me. But yeah, this series bothered me, but I still had fun with it. Especially I think I had extra fun because I had fun with my friends with this, even though they didn't even read it. I just told them everything that happened and they thought it was hilarious, so I think that brings good memories. But yeah, I finished this, except the short thingy, story thingy, which I'm gonna read this month. Overall, I think I possibly gave it 3 out of 5 stars. Yay. I feel like I did not talk coherently about this one. I'm really struggling. I then read The Copper Gauntlet by Cassandra Clare and Holly Black, and this one is the second book in the Magisterium series, which follows Carl. He finds out basically that he's a magician though, and then he's gonna go to magic school basically. Yeah, I really enjoyed the first one, which I read like in 2016 as well, so it's been a while, and here we are with the second book in the series, and I really think that these are fun and really good books. I read 2 of them, but yeah, I liked all the characters. I like the magic. I can't like say anything about the plot whatsoever because spoiler, but like I really like the twist that they have done with the characters and stuff in this, and I'm really excited to continue this series. Yay. What more to say? That was like the worst and shortest book review ever. 4 out of 5 stars. I then read A Thief Among the Trees by Sabaa Tahir. This one is the graphic novel prequel to An Ember and Ashes, and it follows Elias and Helene when they were 5ers. We are on this mission on this island to get this poison, and yeah, it's a beautiful graphic novel with the lovable characters from An Ember and Ashes, and that is like one of my favorite series of all time. And I love this so much. It was like one of my favorites for the month. I love seeing the world, I love seeing the characters, and I love how much heart this had, and how like the original points in An Ember and Ashes and like the heart behind the story there is still so present in this one. And I only read like 2 books in that series, even though it's only 3 out, but yeah, and like I still enjoyed it so thoroughly, and I think you can enjoy this even if you haven't read An Ember and Ashes, or if you're interested in the series, or of course like if you read it, then you should pick this up anyway. You should pick up both either way, because Ember and Ashes is just so good, so good. But yeah, I adore this. I want to die from them all. That's all I got to say. I then read Richwood by Tara Mafi, which is the sequel / companion to Furthermore. This was also one of my faves for this month. I gave the Ember and Ashes one 5 stars, and I also gave this one 5 stars. This one follows Lale, who washes bodies all along because her dad abandoned her after her mother died, and then we also meets Alice and Oliver from their first book in Furthermore, and how they come and try to help her. So it's quite dark, dead bodies, and like a lot of death and we're set in this winterly cold village thing, and it's very atmospheric in that way, perfect for like October winter time. Should have read it then. But also like of friendship and finding the courage in yourself to ask for help and to open yourself for friendship and love. And yeah, it was beautiful and I really liked it. I liked the messages it had and just how fun it was. Furthermore, it was definitely more whimsical, but this was more serious themes in it, but definitely also whimsical and just generally just fun. So yeah, for that. And I adore this, and now I want like more in the furthermore. I was gonna say saga if Tharamoth is interested in writing more, then please do. I then read How Long to Black Future Month by Anki Jemisin. So I read 2 Anki Jemisin's books in 1 month, so yay for that. This one is actually a short story collection, so it's loads of different short stories, and obviously I can't review them all. Like with all short story collections, there's some good and some bad. Some of these like were really short and I didn't understand what's happening, but some were just super good and I would love to see more explode in it. We definitely have one story here which was inspired before like the 5th season, her most famous series, and you can definitely see like in the inspiration where like it started, and it was so cool to just see like how it started with this idea and how she developed it later in her books. Also, there's a short story called The City We Became. So The City We Became was actually a short story before it came a full-length novel, and it's like that short story is like the exact same first chapter in The City We Became book that I read before, so it was really interesting to see that how it was before as well. This was really good though. There were some short stories here that really gave me goosebumps and was just so enjoyable, and there were some so that was just like, okay, well, whatever. Also diversity, of course, with race and sexuality, and Anki Jemisin just have so much inclusion, and I love that. There's some good messages in here. I give 4 out of 5 stars. Yay. Every single time I do like my TBRs, I read like each one in the beginning, and I kind of like take a break in the middle of the month because I'm tired of reading, and then like I have to panic in the end of the month every single time and like binge read everything. So yeah, I'm just like looking at this and I get like flashbacks of my binge reading, but like the binge reading is not there yet completely. It's a bit later in the month, but still. Either way, next one I read was My Hero Academia volume 22 and 21. Why did I say it in the wrong order? And like I didn't read this in this order, but I'm just bunking them together because they belong together. This one we wrapped up a certain arc that we had just went in the volume before, and then we started a new arc which is like class A fighting class B, and we continue that in this whole volume of volume 2. But I just read volume 23 and it does end there, but even though it was just like I guess like half of this and half of the next one, so I guess 2 volumes put together, it was too long. I am tired like now of the class fighting each other. I want like movement in like the overall plot of like the villains, of them becoming heroes, and I know that the small fights and everything they learn in those and develop in those is important, but I'm also just like, can we skip this and like get to the juicy part? I'm like, yeah, we've been here for a long while now. It's always, we had like the festival thing that was so long but fun though, and what we would do when the school year is like comes around to the festival again, like we will have like that many volumes dedicated to that again. But like you need to cover like every single character of what they do and like the different festivals and competitions, and like we had the class fighting each other before and it took a long while then too. It just takes such a long time, and I know that he wants to cover it all, but also I'm just like, please, can we get a move on? So we like had that kind of same plot before where like they fight each other, and I'm just like, I don't hate it, that sounds really horrible, but I'm also like tired of it. And they also like always discover something, and I'm like, yay, great for you. I'm sad with the negative right now, but it is one of my favorite series and I absolutely adore it, but I also wish that we could spend less time pooping and more time moving forward just a tiny bit. But yeah, once 23 things went good again, I will talk about it in my September wrap up, yay. And then read Thunderhead by Neil Schusterman. This one I binged in one day. I had to binge things because I had a certain amount of days left in a month and I had a certain amount of books, so I had to read like 1 or 2 every single day at least, because I had been lazy the week before. Either way, this one is a sequel to Scythe or Scythe. I can never say this word and I said wrong every single time, and my best friend calls me out and I hate my life. It's the second book in the arc of the Scythe series. It is Scythe, right? It's not Scythe, that's what I keep saying. It's Scythe, right? Either way, and we basically just follow the aftermath of what happened in the first book. We are set in a world where death is conquered and no one dies anymore, and when we have these Scythe, they are train killers to make sure that overpopulation does not happen. We follow these two teens, Rowan and Sintra, that are to become scouts, basically. But yeah, I can't talk much more about this because, you know, spoilers. But I think that it's a really, really good series with a lot of ideas. It's a book that I've been thinking a lot about when not reading it. So I really think that that is always a sign that I enjoyed it and it made me think about things, so that's good. I just think that this dragged a bit. It was a bit long and like things moved forward really, really slowly, but the end was of course explosive, of course, and it had a lot of twists and turns that was good. And I just like the moral of it all, like the moral of not just killing, which is of course bad, but just the moral of the story, as it's called. Yeah, an overall enjoyable series, and I don't have the third book, but I really want to read it. But I also know that a lot of people were disappointed in it, so I might as well wait a bit. I'm good at reading sequels, if you couldn't tell from this video, because I told you several times that I waited 4 years to pick up the sequel. I give it 4 out of 5 stars. Again, booking together, I went Promised Neverland volume 6 and 7 by Kayo Shirai, and this one follows basically these kids in this orphanage and they're all super happy there, and then there's this big secret in the orphanage, and that's all I can say about the plot, and I hate my life. And I realized I didn't even say the plot of My Hero Academia earlier, but it's too late now. Either way, we are developed so much in the story, and this story that has a concept that may be a bit typical, but then it really twists its head, not just like of this concept, but it really surprises the reader of where the story will go. You don't really expect where it will go at all, and I'm just so surprised. I think that we found out in, was it volume 6? I will need to check. Yes, it was volume 6. It's just so good. It's one of my faves, and it just keeps surprising me and making me, I was gonna say poop my pants, but that sounded a bit gross. It keeps just being, I'm like looking in it because I'm just like, what happened? It keeps just being so good, and I love it. So yeah, I like, this is like one of my faves. Like My Hero Academia has been my favorite for a long time, but because the story, I have some issues with it, this is like but yeah, my friend made me read this and I am grateful to her every single day. She also made me read Spy Family, and I'm just like, thank you, friend, thank you for feeding me life. And then read The Ocean Was Our Sky by Patrick Ness, and this one is a retelling of Moby Dick told from the perspective of the whale, and it's full of really pretty illustrations, so I really enjoyed that, and it was a really pretty book. I haven't read Moby Dick yet, and I feel like maybe I should have before reading this, because then I feel like the story would have even more impact on me because of the turnaround, but it's literally upside down, and I just really liked it. I love what has happened to it, like all twisted and weird. What happened to like the book? Was it like this when I read it? I don't even remember. Either way, I just love the ideas it had, and the writing was really beautiful, the illustrations was beautiful, but like I think the imagery and maybe like the allergies, is that what it's called? The imagery and the allergies, I don't even know the words. Maybe would have more meaning to me if I actually read the original, but that doesn't say that you can't read this without having read it. Like I read it and I was fine, I got everything that was happening, but I think like, as I said, it would have more stuck meaning for me maybe if I read the original. But yeah, I do have it, but it's so thick and I'm not tempted to read it. I just told you about my experience with classics. It's not going well, and yeah, what more to say? I think this is definitely like a book that more people should read, because it was really beautiful and just generally very interesting and really different from like other, is it a YA book? I think so, other YA books. We literally follow a whale that is hunting Moby Dick. It's great, okay? It's great. It's not even what they call him. They call him the devil. They don't even call him Moby Dick. What has happened to the book? It's like so weird right now. By the way, it was just such a quick read because like it was illustrations, but it's like a really little text on each page. I appreciate that a lot. They call him Toby Wick, not Moby Dick. So yeah, I had to check. Toby Wick that they're hunting down. Yay. And then read The Friends Game by Cale Dietrich. This one is also the author of The Love Interest, and it is the newest book. And yeah, it just came out and I was so excited for it. So we follow Matt, who is like the son of like one of the biggest criminals in the city they live in. Like they are like a big mafia family, and then he meets this boy that is his friend, but soon Matt suspects that Jason is part of the family that tried to kill his father. So like they are basically enemies, like that they're families are enemies, so a bit like Romeo and Juliet is here. The author has really fun concepts, and a lot of people like ended up not loving the love interest because like he had a really great concept, but like they didn't like the execution. I think that this could easily happen here too, but I really liked it. I liked the plot. I like that this ending ended somewhere where you didn't expect, because Matt, for example, doesn't really want to be part of this mafia family. How they resolved that kind of was really nice, and I liked the family parts, and I liked him trying to like tell his family it was gay, etc. It had nice parts. The thing that actually bothered me the most wasn't how the plot was executed, it was the writing. It was so awkward sometimes. The dialogue just didn't feel natural. I was reading it and I staggered how it was written out. I was just like, why are you like talking so stiff and weird? And like the dialogue and the text and stuff were just like so off for me, because I can't come up with a single example right now, but if you read it you might know what I mean. Just like they wrote so formal sometimes and stuff. I'm not saying you shouldn't be polite, but it was just another kind of polite, and just how they spoke to each other was just like really awkward talking. Like if they said those things out loud, it just feels really awkward thinking about it, and that was the thing that actually bothered me the most. But like I got used to it after a while and I could easily ignore it, but like the writing for me was actually the weirdest part about this book. Other than that, I think it was actually a really fun story. Like there were some parts that were a bit ridiculous. I thought like some parts were just a bit funny how like it was executed, and I was just like, really? But I overall just had fun with it though. So 4 out of 5 stars, yay. Every time in time I film a wrap up, I like go really quick in the beginning and then always slow down, and then I end up in hell when I edit. So I read Bloom Into You, Nakotana Neo, and this one is the 5th volume in this series. Oh my god, and it follows Nanami and you always wanted to feel love and stuff, but she hasn't yet, and then Nanami falls in love with her, and you just let Nanami kind of love her, and they're both in the student council and trying to set up this play, and Nanami also like lost her sister that also was in the student council, so there's like different themes in that, and they're super sweet. In this one they go on like this adorable date, and they're trying to set up this play, and I just really enjoy it. There's a really like very contemporary setting with these two girls that I don't even know how we're gonna end up together. Like it even like isn't like solely focused on them, it's like focused on their character and like Anonymi's character and how she's dealing with the loss of her sister, and it just turned into this much deeper thing than just like, oh my god, they're gonna kiss kind of thing. And I just really enjoy that. There's only apparently 8 volumes, which I didn't know until like someone commented on it in my comments. So I'm on volume 5, so I only have 3 volumes left. Also kind of like that it's not gonna last forever, because I'm not tired of it. I do love it, but like I am almost tired of like reading a manga series that I don't never know when it's gonna end, so like you're just buying volumes for forever, even though I love it so much because of course I want to read it for forever. But yeah, it's also nice to know that there are short ones out there. Yay. I then read Midnight by Stephanie Meyer, and this one stressed me out so much because I had so many little days left and I used like 3 days on this one. It was a struggle. It was big, so that's one of the reasons why I read it really slowly, so help me. And do I need to say what Midnight is about? Midnight is Twilight just from Edward's point of view, and we've been waiting years for this. And this cover, I can't almost not look at it because and yeah, it's giving me trypophobia, which I actually do have, so like I'm struggling with this. We will put the book down actually. I don't know what to say. I know the criticism Twilight has had, and I thought more about it lately, but like since the years, but I always like a part of me will love and appreciate Twilight, but you can love something, but you need to see the flaws and the problematic parts it has. And I know that Twilight has a lot of that. But oh my god, I didn't know that Edward was such an asshole. That's how to say it. I knew already it was going to be problematic because it's the same problematic love story. That like, I didn't know that Edward was such a big asshole, and it kind of disappointed me because I used to love him. But oh my god, he thinks so little of people. I mean, like, okay, I also think little of people, at least certain kind of people. But you don't want to read about someone that hates absolute everybody. Not even hates them, just thinks he's much better than them. I never knew kind of that like Twilight vampires had like really higher intelligence, that they take in things faster and then thereby think that humans are lesser because they're so slow compared to them. Then they get sort of like more status. So how can he handle Bella then if like she's human, right? She's slow. So how can he handle her? I don't get it. I just don't get still how they fell in love. They just fell in love in one page, and I just don't get it. Even though like that like the least problem the book has. But yeah, it was still interesting to see more of the family, I guess. And it's still fun to see Edward's point of view in that way. But I didn't really have fun because it was so long. Oh my god. And it was so tedious to read about. The exact same story as well. So I knew every single thing that was gonna happen. But yeah, that was expected. And I don't know what more to say. It wasn't fun. I thought it was at least gonna be like hilariously fun. It didn't have the impact I hope they was gonna have on me. Twilight fangirl Sandra would always give this 5 stars, but no, I wouldn't do that now. It was close to really far down below at the point, but I ended up like giving like 3. It might be more 2, I don't know. I love that I said I had a really great reading month, and then I had some like really that I was really skeptical about, so clearly I lied. I kind of forgot what I read this month apparently. Oh, I looked at the cover again. I didn't hate it, I guess I was kind of disappointed. I don't know why I had expectation for it. But I did, okay. But yeah, I read it because I had to. Now I don't know what I feel. Can we move on? I then read Wolf Children, Ame and Yuki by Momori Hosoda, and this one is also like a movie, and I think the manga was written based on a movie, drawn. Not written. It was originally a novel, and then it would turn into a manga, and then also a movie. I don't know what came first, but yeah, I watched the movie before, so I knew the story. But it's just so beautiful. It follows these 2 wolf children that the father died when they were quite young, and the mother taking care of them, and then being a family and seeing how they grow up and what kind of wolves and humans they turn out to be. I really love their mother. I really love the 2 siblings. I love that they turn into wolves. I really like everything about this book, or the manga. It was like a really big one. I borrowed it from my best friend, so that's why I don't have it here. But overall, just super enjoyable. I don't know what more to say. It's just really adorable story, family story. I suggest you pick it out. It's just like one of those heartwarming ones. That was a really short review, but yeah, we're soon in the end. I'm so happy. We have Fire and Heist by Sarah Beth Thirst, and this one is actually a standalone. I thought it was the first one in the series, but it's not, and it follows weird dragons. Is that what you call it? But yeah, people can turn into dragons. We follow this one dragon family. They're like a big dragon society, but dragons have been like banned from the whole land. They can't go home anymore, so they're like shit, and that's happened like a while ago. They kind of live by like robbing and stuff each other. But their mother and the family failed this heist thing, and then they all getting punished. They're like not having that much money and status anymore, and then she's trying to restore it. The main character Sky is trying to do another heist to like win back their status. So it's full of heists, and they're dragons, and it was fun. It reads like low YA a bit, and I'm saying that as a compliment because I love middle grade. Like, it was full of family and friendship and also love, and it was just cute and fun. I just saying that in a way that you shouldn't expect like this book that's gonna blow your mind and be like super complex, but it was just fun for what it is, and I had a lot of fun with what it was, and I think it did have some original and really fun ideas, and I was surprised. I really wanted to know what happened to the mother, and when we got the answer I was like, dang, that was a good one. And just how it all ended up, yeah, it's a really short book. It's only 300 pages long, and the fact that they managed to cram so much in it and still have it was impressive. And yeah, the family was adorable. She had like 3 brothers, and she got this one human friend, and a lot of different things, how it all wrapped up together. I actually think this was really fun and adorable. Well, the more I thought about it now, the more I liked it. So yay for books that are just fun. I then picked up Fire the Night by Tamsin Mears, and this is the sequel to Gideon the Night, which I read last year, and I needed a sequel ASAP, and then I read it again for Faes and Gaze in July. I don't have words. I just don't have words how the author turned the tables. So after reading Gideon the Night, you expect Howard the Night to pick up right after Gideon. So many things. I don't want to spoil Gideon at all, but yeah, oh my god, I didn't say what it was about, but Gideon the Knight basically follows Gideon the Knight, who becomes the Cavalier to Harrow, and the Harrow is going to become this lictor, which is basically like a godlike status under their actual like necromancer god. All the houses compete against each other, or like compete to become a lictor, and they all are like from different planets where they all do different kind of necromancy magic. Harrow the Knight is from the planet where they like to deal with like taking up skeletons, and I don't have words for like the other kind of necromancer magic the other ones did. But yeah, you, as I said, expect this one to pick up right where Gideon left off, and it does not. It turned the table. We have parts of the story written in second person now. We go back in time and forth in time, and if you thought Gideon the Knight was confusing, you're gonna think this one is confusing too. You think you got an overview in Gideon the Knight, but you don't. The author also starts from scratch of building up the story. In the first one, we have this really dark, dense world with death and necromancy, but we have Gideon as this humor shield for the world. But now that it's gone in this one, because we follow Harrow, it's so much more denser and darker, and also like we rebuild the whole world because we need to see it again, but it's another point of view, and it's just so genius. The author like really took a turn here. It's also the kind of book that if you didn't have it, you won't get the point of the story, because it's really a book you need to reach at the end to really get that satisfying, get the explanation and everything. And it's like the kind of book you have to read the whole thing for it to make sense, for it to have the weight. And yeah, like it takes a while for a lot of people to get into it, and you need to read a certain amount of it to, again, make it make sense. I think the author was bold here because everyone expected a certain thing from Gideon, and then of course expected that in Harry the Knight, but the author was just like, nope, I will do what I want. And to take that leap, I am amazed. But it was good, okay? I was very confused, but I was confused in Gideon the Knight too, but it was so good when it got good. I was still confused of all the characters, of course, and I was still confused of other things, but overall I really liked it. I gave this 4 out of 5 stars too, and I'm so excited for the 3rd book in the series to see how the author will even do that. But yeah, and also there were some reveals in this. The answers that you didn't get in Gideon because there were things that you really needed an answer to, we did get in this one, but now it's more an answer like questions. So excited for the 3rd book in the series. So then I also picked up a really short audiobook because I finished all my other audiobooks and I just needed an audiobook for the last few days for the month, and that is Once More Upon a Time by Roshni Chokshi. This one is Roshni Chokshi's original Audible thing, so it's only on Audible, can't get a physical copy, etc. And it is basically follows this princess and this prince that became queen and king together, and that kingdom could only be ruled if the rulers were still in love. But then she almost dies, and the price is that they forget that they are in love. And then later, like, that year has passed because you can only rule for a year there if you're not in love, I think. They need to go on this journey to do this quest for the witch and do the follow love again. I mean, probably. But like, yeah, that's the whole story. And yes, it's a bit predictable. It goes where you're supposed to go. But I think it was adorable. I love how Roshni writes. I love the like adventure and the like really fairy tale feel to it. And I thought it was adorable and fun. So if you want like a really short audiobook, but that has a lot of heart, I recommend this one a lot. And yeah, I gave it 4 to 5 stars. I don't know what more to say than that, but yeah, I just like the light toned fairy tale feel to this. The last one I read, I had to binge read like the last night of the month, and yeah, I technically then finished it after midnight, so yeah, you could say I finished it in September, but I still counted for August because as long as I didn't go to bed, I am still in August in my head. I stayed up like very late. I was dead the next day just so I could say I finished it this month. Because I did not want to fail my TBR. And that was a beautifully foolish endeavor by Hank Green, and it's the final book in the Carl's series, or duology, because it's only 2 books. And the first book, an absolutely foolish endeavor, follows basically these big robot things that lands on Earth one day. They were not there the last moment, but they were suddenly there the next. And then April films a video with these and goes viral, and she becomes basically a superstar and like a spokesperson for the Carls. Ensues a lot of different other happenings, and it was good. The first one was really good. I was very surprised of how much I loved it. I gave it like 5 out of 5 stars, and I read it actually earlier this year, and then I read this one, and no, I was not disappointed in it, but I definitely think that the commentary on like social media on humanity working together, I enjoyed that message much more than like this one became more of a like a different kind of novel, and that's totally fine. Like, it still had really fascinated parts, especially like when they got their own books. That's all I'm gonna say because I don't want to spoil it. And it's definitely like still fun with like finding out why and behind everything. I still think that was really cool and really interesting, but it didn't have like that same message it had in the first one, that underlining reason behind everything. Here you just get the explanations why, and then like them trying to save the day, and that's totally cool and fine, but like that was what made the first book so lovable for me. I'm just comparing it here. Still really enjoyable, satisfying ending. You get answers to everything, written so well, and just like super fascinating, interesting still. And yeah, it made me think a lot about actually the Homo sapiens book, or Homo Deus, that's what it's called, because like it had a lot of the aspects of that one in this one, so that was funny. And now I like keep thinking about that book every time I see like science fiction things, so that's the thing too. Overall, as I said, super enjoyable, and I don't know what more to say. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I didn't give it 5, but it was still super good, and I still really enjoyed it. So yeah, really recommend a lot. I'm very surprised actually how good those books turn out, because I don't know what I expected from them, but it was nothing at all what I expected when I was picking up Hank Green's book, and I'm like so glad I read them, and I'm so excited for whatever he chooses to write next. That's it. Oh my god, I cannot like feel my throat right now. I don't know how long I've been here, but yeah, I'm trying to edit as much away as possible. But yeah, it's gonna be a long one, but that's fine for wrap-ups. And that's it. I didn't put as many books, luckily, on my September TBR, but still way too many. Why do I do this to myself? Next year it won't be like this. It will probably be like much less in the wrap-ups. I'm so grateful because then I won't be in pain like this. Thank you so much for watching this video. I know I'm very, very brief and stuff and not coherent at all, but like what to expect from me. Again, comment down below if you want to know more about any of these, and you will see me soon in a new video. Bye.